Let me tell you something that the most people are too afraid to say out loud. The most people, the majority, will remain average throughout their lives. Not because they're stupid, not because they're unlucky, or not because they're poor and don't get the right opportunities, but something far more invisible, something sitting right inside their head. And the important thing is that they don't actually know that it's the problem with them. I am Samarth and I'm 17. I'm not here to give you some motivations that is actually going to just last for 10 minutes and you'll probably forget it afterwards. I am still learning, but here are the things which I've figured out so far. These all can be put up by the question that what actually separates the people who make it, the top 0.001%, and the people who had the same potential and just didn't. And what I found was actually some specific mindset patterns, not productivity hacks, not morning routines, or not some daily habits. Four deep mental patterns that every average person carries, and that every exceptional person has actually destroyed them quietly. Stick with me for the next 10 minutes and I'll probably change your way of thinking. And I can say it's a promise. Okay, so the first one, and I really want you to hear this because this is the most common one. It's called a disease called excusitis. I'm actually calling it a disease because it's somewhat like that only, because it actually sits quietly and kills your dreams. Let me tell you how it works. Maybe you have a dream of doing something. Maybe you plan it afterwards or just now only. And for example, you want to start a YouTube channel, or you want to start a business, or learn a skill, or anything. And just as you get that idea into your mind, your brain pulls out a big list that actually starts coming your way. For example, I'm studying in class 12, I want to have boards. I'm actually going to study for that. I'm having my UTs, I'm having my exams just after the next month, or maybe I want to do something else now. These are the most common reasons actually, but the thing is that I'm not saying that these reasons aren't real. Some of them are real and like really genuine in difficult situations, but there is one brutal truth: the people who actually build something extraordinary, the ones whom you look up to, like for example, I want to become like Elon Musk. The ones whom you look up to, they also had those types of problems and like those really tight situations. For example, Elon Musk only, he made his first game at the age of 12, which he sold for like $500 at that time. And the other one is the founder of Zerodha, Nithin Kamath and Nikhil Kamath. They started working in 10th class only, and they left their schools in 10th class for that, and that was totally against the tradition at that. Both of these examples which I took, they weren't born with any fewer problems. They just decided that their excuses were not more important than their goals, and they certainly went against all the odds. So the question isn't that do you have a valid reason to not start. The question is that is that reason big enough for you to completely ignore the goal you want to become, or the goal or the person you want to become. So if not, then the excuse needs to go. Okay, so let's come with the second one. And this one, once I have felt personally, fear. And I don't mean the fear of something dangerous. I mean that very specific, very stupid, very powerful fear that shows up right when you are about to do something new. Let's say you decide to start again that same example YouTube channel, and immediately your brain begins. What will people think? What if I do all these efforts and nothing grows? What if I'm naturally not wired to do this? What if I start and then I could just like how I did when I tried it in the past? Like these are the fears that actually comes to your mind. And here's what makes it worse: you bring in your past failures. You remember that one time you tried something and it didn't work, and suddenly this new thing feels like it's already failed before you have ever started. Yeah, this happens, and this is very dangerous. Your mind is doing something very specific here. It is designed, evolutionarily designed, to protect you from risk. It will find every possible negative outcome and present it to you in 4K full resolution surround sound, like everything is there. And but here's what most people don't know. This is the thing. Your brain is equally capable of doing the opposite. It can find every possible outcome, every possible reason that could work, every resource you have, but if you consciously command it to. The mind follows instructions. If you feed it fear, it builds a wall. If you feed it a question, what if this actually works? It starts building a path. I'm not saying kill all fear. Fear is important, like for doing things. Fear is data. But the goal is to act despite the fear, not wait for the fear to disappear, because it never does. Confidence. Everyone talks about it, everyone wants it, and most people are waiting for it to magically arrive one day. Here's something that genuinely changed how I think about it. Confidence doesn't come before action, it comes because of action. Did you hear that? Because of action. But there's a bridge in between, and that bridge is called acting as if. Let me explain. When you are in a situation, standing in front of people, making big decisions, like starting something new, and everyone is watching you, and you don't feel confident, here's what you do. You act like you do. Not fake confidence, not pretending to be something you're not, but carrying the posture, the tone, the energy of someone who has actually done that before. Your brain doesn't fully know the difference between real experience and rehearsed behavior. This is literally backed by neuroscience. Yeah, that big word, neuroscience. The way you carry your body, the way you speak, the certainty in your voice, it creates a feedback loop. Your mind starts to match the signal your body is sending. You have probably heard of fake it till you make it, that quote, and dismiss it as a shallow advice. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying act it till you become it. Because here's what happens. The more you act with confidence, the more decisions you make that a confident person would make. The more risk you take that a confident person would take. And slowly, without even noticing, it stops being a performance. It becomes your default. So, so the thing is, the people you see who seem naturally confident, they weren't born that way. They just started acting that way before they actually felt it, and just they kept going, and it became a part of their identity. And now the last one, and I genuinely believe this is the single most important idea of this entire video: big thinking. I know. I know it sounds like something you'd see on a post in a school hallway, but stay with me because this is not motivational stuff, it is almost mathematical. Let me ask you something. If two people have the exact same skill, the exact same starting point, the exact same resources, and one aims to build a 10 lakh rupee business and the other aims to build a 1000 crore business, 5 years later, who do you think has built something more significant? Tell me, just think for a second. Obviously the second, right? But why? Because aim determines the strategy. The person aiming for 10 lakh will make decisions, take risks, build networks, and think at the scale of 10 lakhs only. But the person aiming for 1000 crore has to think differently, has to take bigger bets, has to find bigger partners, has to build systems, not just hustle. Even if the second person fails, and let's say they fall short, they still end up at something that is far better than the person who just capped at himself at 10 lakh rupees. There's a phrase which I think can fit this: aim for the stars, and if you fail, then also you can land on the moon. But if you just aim for the building across the street, even if you hit hard and hit it, you are just at the building next door. Yeah, it's nothing. This is not philosophy. This is how exceptional people are literally wired differently. They refuse to set a small ceiling for themselves. And this is the hardest mindset to build because society trains you to be realistic, to be practical. Your parents, your teachers, your relatives, at every wedding, at every function, beta be practical, yeah. And they're not wrong to be careful, but they are often scared of what your big thinking implies. That maybe the script they followed their whole life wasn't the only one. You get to write your own script. This is the thing which is important. And the first line of the script should start with the size of your dream. So let me just bring it all together. 4 minds. 1. Kill anxiety. Stop letting your reasons be bigger than your goal. 2. Destroy fear, or at least stop letting it make your decisions. 3. Act confidently before you feel it. And let it become real. 4. Think bigger than it feels comfortable, and let that size shape your strategy. I want to tell you something really quick about what I am going to do on this channel. I'm 17. I don't have a degree in this. I'm not a some guru sitting on a mountain somewhere. I'm a guy who is generally obsessed with one question: how do you actually build a great life? And on this channel, I'm going to explore that in two ways. First, think big. Video like this one, mindset, growth, self-improvement, and every mindset stuff, everything stuff this that actually matters for your life. I'll make this as the first. Second, think clear. Breakdowns of what's happening in the world, politics, society, economy, so that you understand the environment you're trying to build your life in. Because here's what I believe: you can't build a big life if you're thinking small, and you can't think clearly if you don't understand the world around you. So if that's something you want, subscribe. It costs you nothing, and I'll promise that I'll never waste your time. I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.